Hello, everybody. This talk was supposed to be about the Substrate Builders program. However, the Substrate Builders program is not the only thing that's out there. So I changed it a little bit. I made it about builder support, right? What does it mean? What does it actually mean? What it meant in the past, what it means today, and what is it out there in the Polkadot ecosystem that all of you can definitely profit from. But to start understanding this, we need to also understand or ask the question, what does actually building on Polkadot mean, right? Building on Polkadot is quite different from building on other ecosystems that are out there. A lot of people are used to building smart contracts on any other platform, like Ethereum, like Solana, like whatever that is. But not a lot of people are really into building on a multi-chain ecosystem, right? A multi-chain interoperable ecosystem. Building on Polkadot in itself means a lot of different things, right? Building on Polkadot can mean like build a parachain, right? That's a path that we all know. But it also can mean instead of a parachain, let's build a parathread, right? What are the differences there? Why do we have one or the other one? Or it could mean let's actually build a smart contract on top of a parachain that supports that. Or let's just build a pallet, right, on a potential chain. We can build wallets to support the ecosystem. We can build indexers to support the ecosystem. We can have a role as a validator. We maybe want to be ambassadors of the Polkadot ecosystem and the Polkadot brand, and so more and so forth. Right? I just listed the ones that just came up to me in my mind. But in the end, building on Polkadot means a lot of different things. And what this means is that there cannot be one thing to support absolutely everything. There has to be a whole set of things that can help us deliver on all these potential needs that the ecosystem can have. On top of that, every single team out there is different, right? We can have solo builders, people that are just like, hey, I want to do this by myself. It could be a new team that has recently formed up, and they pitch to a couple of people, and they know they have a good idea, but they never work together as a team, and they're just going to go out there and start working with it. Or it could be a very experienced team that has been developing for a couple of years and now wants to develop on the Polkadot ecosystem. They could be funded, they could be not funded, they could already have built something like an MVP or not. Like the possibilities out there are huge. So we have this interconnection, right? Sort of like a Gantt diagram of a lot of different possibilities to actually build in the Polkadot ecosystem, a lot of different possibilities in terms of what a team can actually deliver or what a team actually is right now. So how do we cater for all of this? Or how do we actually go around this? And the Substrate Builders program in itself has been the very first thing that we had to solve this problem, right? The Substrate Builders program always was this one place where we try to work with as much teams as possible to help them become a product on Polkadot. But that is not the case anymore, right? The Substrate Builders program exists, but there's a whole suite of things that also exist that I wanted to present to you today. So what I want to talk to you about today is square one, right? And square one in itself is everything and it's nothing at the same time. It's like, in itself, it does not deliver anything, but it has all the information that every team actually needs to know exactly what next step to take. It works sort of like as a lighthouse in our ecosystem, trying to connect all these different teams with all these different needs and all these different objectives to all the different initiatives that exist in the Polkadot ecosystem, where it doesn't really matter if the ecosystem lives inside of Parity, if it lives in the Web3 Foundation, if it lives in the ecosystem, or anything else, right? What's important here is that through Square One, we can help you understand what is the best next step for your project, depending what you have today, what you want to achieve, and where you want to go. And the whole idea of Square One is that builders are going to build. If we can help you through that direction, if we can help you through that process, then we're pretty confident that in the end, you will deliver a very good working product. Support streams that exist right now are a lot, right? And I just listed again a couple of these here. So first and foremost, the Substrate Builders program, the one that mostly everybody knows about. The Substrate Builders program is this one thing that Parity has been doing for a couple of years and that a lot of teams have used to actually become parachains on Polkadot. But maybe a lot of you also heard about the Web3 Foundation grants, right? A very comprehensive grant system that the Web3 Foundation has. But we also have the on-chain treasury. We have hackathons happening on the ecosystem all over the place. We've got the Builders for Builders, right? All the support that our existing parachain teams already provide to people that want to build on top of them. We've got the Substrate Developer Hub. We've got accelerators. We've got incubators. We've got delivery partners, right? A set of people that are ready out there, if you've got the funds, to actually code your chain for you. We've got the ambassadors program. We've got a Web3 bootcamp in Asia. We've got the Polkadot Blockchain Academy. If you want to learn how to use this, well, we can help you get into the Polkadot Blockchain Academy, right? Let's discuss it and let's see what information we can give you on that. So again, a lot of different things that you can build on Polkadot. A lot of different natures from the teams, right? A lot of things that teams actually need, and a lot of initiatives out there, right? So how do we match all of this? It's what's important and what we're trying to deliver. Let's say that you want to learn how to build on Polkadot, right? So from all these streams, all these possibilities, maybe we can connect you to the Polkadot Blockchain Academy. We can connect you to the Web3 Bootcamp if you are on the Asia region, right? We can connect you to some hackathons so that you can start playing around with people, or point you to the Substrate development hub. Talk maybe about an incubator if you want to learn how to do this, but you have a good idea, right? There are different things. If you need funding, right? If you need funding, we can go to the Web3 Foundation grants. We can go through the on-chain treasury. There's a lot of very important and interesting programs also happening on top of each parachain out there that we can connect you to. Accelerators, incubators, all of these also help you get the funding that you need to get your project bootstrapped. Or maybe you would need some help building, right? And for building, again, the Substrate Builders program now comes as a very natural option and a very important option for you. If you have the funds, let's go for delivery partners, right? Let's get somebody out there that can help you build your chain. So a lot of different things for a lot of different people that, depending on what the needs are and what the stage is, we can help you try and get out there. Now, let's talk a little bit about more about the Substrate Builders program, because if you came here for the title, you came here for the Substrate Builders program, and I think it's just fair to spend some time here. But I really, really want to get the message across that this is not just about the Substrate Builders program. This is about a whole suite of initiatives that live in Parity and outside of Parity that can definitely help builders all over the ecosystem build. So the Substrate Builders program has been the program that's been running for the longest time ever in the ecosystem. We started this around 2.5 years ago. It evolved through a lot of different stages, but all in all, the important thing about the Substrate Builders program is that it works from an MVP stage all the way up to becoming a parachain, or an MVP stage all the way up to providing a service for the Polkadot ecosystem, okay? If you're building an indexer for a solo chain out there, Substrate Builders program is not going to be the best thing for you. If you're building an indexer for the Polkadot ecosystem, the Substrate Builders program is going to be a good tool for you. If you're building a parachain for the Polkadot ecosystem, if you don't have an MVP, then we need to help you get that MVP first. Once you get that MVP, the Substrate Builders program is a good thing for you, right? So again, the Substrate Builders program is designed to help teams go from an MVP stage all the way up to becoming a parachain. In itself, I don't know if this is very small, you can read it, but in itself it's a dedicated collection of resources to help accelerate key, high impactful projects in the Polkadot ecosystem. Collaboration still is at the heart of the Substrate Builders program. We, as the runners or the people that run the Substrate Builders program, are nothing more than facilitators, right? We facilitate information, we facilitate connections, we make sure we are there for when things are not moving forward. However, we believe that the community in itself can push itself together to new boundaries and find the solution to the problems. And that is what the Substrate Builders program is trying to achieve right now. In the past, it did something different, right? In the past, it was all about whatever it takes, we're going to solve your issues, right? And that parted the ecosystem a little bit into different places because each team was having just a direct connection with us and not between themselves, right? But for now onwards, now that we know and the ecosystem knows what a parachain is and how to build a parachain, now we can move on to the next phase, right? And the next phase for the Substrate Builders program is collaboration. It's our ecosystem working together, all together as a team, and having resources from our end being there to solve any issues or any problems that you might have. And resources that the Substrate Builders program has are a lot, right? So we can help teams with connections with potential auditor companies. We can offer some very simple fuzzing of the runtimes to see if there are any issues there on the way that it's coded. We have these milestone reviews where developers from Parity actually look into the code and try to provide feedback on the way that you're using Substrate at the moment. We have community calls every Monday where people just get together. We have chats with everybody so we can understand and see what we can help you with. We help with hiring if needed. We can connect you to different funding streams as well, right? So in itself, it's a great collection of resources, but again, it has this idea of collaboration at the heart of what we do. But that is what the Builders program is. We also need to understand what it is not. And the Builders program, and let's get this straight, is most definitely not the only way of becoming a parachain on Polkadot. I'm going to say that again. The Builders program is most definitely not the only way of becoming a parachain on Polkadot. All the resources that exist on the Builders program exist for everybody, right? And exist for the entire ecosystem. The difference is that the Builders program packages them and delivers them on a streamlined way. But if you want to get an audit, there's still the same companies that can audit your code, right? Again, it's not the only way of becoming a parachain, and that is very important to understand too. If you have ideas, if you have projects, if you wanna be part of this collaboration streams and wanna be part of it, we have our Square One website that goes and walks through all of this information. In fact, that little QR code that I did not test it out and I hope it works, actually connects you to our website where there's a very little form that you can fill up and we can sit down and have what we call an online coffee or an online beer, whatever you guys are into, to be honest. We're actually not going to be drinking anything, we're just going to be talking. And we can discuss, again, understand a bit more what is it that you need, what stage are you at, and what is our best recommendation to go through, and help you through that process of getting that support stream. Is it working or not, the QR? It's working? Yes, it works. All right, perfect. And I know this has been a bit of a short presentation. Now we're going to open it to questions and discuss it a bit all together. But I want to get into one little thing that has to do with collaboration. Builder support in any ecosystem out there is always a two-way street. And that is the only way that an ecosystem can actually grow exponentially. If we have one single party in the middle acting as the only owner of resources, then that party that's in the middle will most definitely be the blocker of the growth of the ecosystem. Let's put it a name, right? If Parity becomes the one thing in the middle that everybody needs to go to, then Parity has limited time and limited resources, and this ecosystem will never be able to thrive. So for us, Builder support and everything that I showed you before on the Builders program and the other streams needs to be a two-way street. It's not only Parity helping teams, it's teams helping Parity and the ecosystem as well. The best support that we can have, right, is having a very, very strong community. And for that, we started off two very simple projects in the last 6 months that can help us go into this direction, right? The first one is the Substrate Stack Exchange. You might be looking into this and say, really, this is an initiative? Why? What is this, right? But this right here, this is timeless information, right? This is where people have questions and then just type them here and get the answers. And they build even faster. So for us, for example, whenever a team in the Builders program has a question, the very first thing that we ask them is, can you please post it on Stack Exchange? And we'll go there and answer it. We were not doing this before, and we were losing a lot of information. But this is what we need to change. If you have questions, just post them here, right? We have people, we have systems, we have everything needed for that question to get answered. And the more questions we have, the more need we're going to have to answer them. But this is very much like one-to-one thing of I've got this question, let's find this answer, right? We also started the Polkadot forum. I don't know how many here have been around the Polkadot forum, but I really, really recommend you to go through this one. You've been there? That's good. The Polkadot forum in itself is this place where ideas can be discussed, right? Where needs can be discussed. Where maybe somebody says, look, I have no idea how to do this, right? But I've been using Polkadot and I figure out that if I've got DOT tokens, there's nothing I can do right now. I mean, I've got them here, I moved them to a parachain, I don't have fees for the parachain to pay anything, right? So I cannot even swap these tokens. What do I do with this? And then people start interacting and people start discussing. And maybe through that interaction, we get to a point where we find a potential solution. So people that have builders, people that are builders at heart, people that want to build something, can dive into this and try to understand what is that need that's happening right now so that they can build it. And this right here is connected to the Web3 Foundation grants, the Substrate Builders program, and all the support streams through which we know If it's a need that happened here, we need to support it so that our ecosystem can get unblocked and can continue to build. So what I want us to take from this presentation, right, besides the fact that we've got all the support streams, besides the fact that we have Square One, and again, as the main point of entry, Square One is the place to go. What I really want to take from us is that more than builder support, what we need to start talking about is a builders community. And that is what we need to understand, and that's what we need to grow all together as a Polkadot ecosystem. But yeah, that's everything that I had today. Yeah, that was fast. So yeah, let's open it to questions for anybody.
Anyone? Does
we,
anyone
we
has
do have
any-
time.
Yes. No, we have time.
That's why, yeah, let's open it
Yeah.
for questions.
Do you have anyone has any questions for our Santi here? Anything? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. How it works? The funding of a project regarding the rights on the project itself. The idea is there kind of patenting process, or is something really wide open, and basically the fund comes to the team, and legal aspects that are more, that even when Web3 seems to be something that drives the world to a borderless thing, there's still in some locations issues with taxation, copyrights, this kind of thing. So
Yeah.
how a funding of a project works in this matter?
Yeah, that is one of the questions that has to be answered on a case-by-case basis, right? Because there's no one straight answer that I can give you for that, unfortunately. As you said, it depends on the location, it depends on where your company is set up, it depends on where the actual team that's funding you is set up as well. So there's like a lot of variables here that are in play that can definitely impact the way that this would be set up. What I would recommend you doing in that case is, if you have a project, if you have an idea, if you have something to do, what usually works the best is to try to build a very first rough iteration of how does that look like, right? If you have the ability to do so, and then using that as a pitch to start discussing with different funds out there and say, hey, this is my vision, right? This is what I try to achieve. And our very little team as it is right now, we try something out, and this is a very rough way that it looks like right now. Or even go through, even go through an accelerator, an incubator, or something like that to get that thing going. And once you're there, then it's easier to start that conversation with different funds. But until you have a better understanding of where your team is based, where you want to base actually your company, and where you want to start basing the different different funds that you're talking to, yeah, I don't know exactly how to answer that question, unfortunately. It's more of a one-to-one basis.
Okay, but when you talk about funding coming from the Polkadot
Yes.
ecosystem,
Yes.
we are talking about.
Okay. Let me go back. I think I know where you're getting from. You mean this thing right here. Right. So for these first two things, right? The Web3 Foundation grant gives you funding in the form of stablecoins. Okay? So you get stablecoins to an address that you specify. On-chain treasury, it's just a DAO giving you DOT or Kusamas. Okay? So they're going to give you this money to whatever address, again, you specify. The builders for builders, it depends on what specific initiative. An example here is the AUSD Ecosystem Fund. Again, they gave you AUSD, so they give you a stablecoin on Akala in this case. Accelerators and incubators are a bit more of this case where they have funds connected to them, and depending on what is going on.
Tied to a specific
Exactly.
location. And the first three options.
Yes.
In exchange of what they give you that money?
That's a great question. So let's go for one example. Web3 Foundation grants, right? The way that the Web3 Foundation grants work is that you're going to propose to the Web3 Foundation what is it that you want to build, right? You're going to tell them, okay, my idea is to build this open source project because it will benefit the ecosystem in ABC way, okay? You're going to have a review process. There's reviewers for the Web3 Foundation that look into the code and approve it or not, and then the discussion happens there. But this right here has to be about open source technology that anybody in the ecosystem can use. On-chain treasury is more about solving specifically issues that Polkadot or Kusama might have. And in here, there are a lot of things happening, right? It can be from maybe I don't know, maybe you're located in whatever, in Colombia, for example, right?
Venezuela.
Venezuela. Amazing, yeah. There was an accent there that I was trying to nail down.
Sí, soy de allá,
Yeah.
de hecho.
So you're in Venezuela, right? And you see that the Polkadot community in Venezuela is not very big. And you say, okay, I definitely want to change this. So you can do an on-chain treasury proposal to start doing events in Venezuela, for example, and you will get funding for that because that helps grow the Polkadot ecosystem. Or maybe you want to build, I don't know, indexes, for example, in the Polkadot ecosystem actually receive funds from the chain to sustain the usage or the actual operation cost of their indexers. So they do that through on-chain treasury. They build it first with this money, and now every quarter they ask again the treasury to say, okay, we provided this service, these are the costs that we have coming forward. Do you guys agree to pay for them or not? The community discusses, approves them, and then it gets done.
I think we should talk about after this. Yeah.
Definitely, let's talk.
Oh, hello. Yeah, thank you. Regarding, I can add on about the on-chain treasury. We also have like treasury proposal on our website. Like you can just go have a look. There's a lot of examples there. So if you want to build projects or whatever, events, anything, you can just go there, have a look. The guideline is all there. So yeah. Any more questions that we can?
Anything
No?
else?
Anything else that you guys want to know?
Yes, over there.
Hey, hello. There are many projects that they don't fit in the venture capital approach of
Yes.
funding themselves, and that doesn't mean that they don't have to build a lot of infrastructure on the way. For instance, a foundation or stuff like that, because it's even in order to get funds in other ways that's not venture capital. And in this particular case, for instance, what's your, because it's very expensive, concrete lawyers, to have a lawyer to working for you to help you to have a foundation and stuff like that. What's the builders program, or what, where could, for instance, this particular case, what's the correct approach to get some help to make a foundation, for instance?
When you say foundation, you mean the Web3 Foundation, or?
No, it's a foundation
To
for
set up the
a
foundation.
parachain. Yeah, for a parachain that doesn't, because of its specifications, cannot apply to venture capital.
So you're talking about legal support for a specific parachain?
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, there's nothing set yet for that. So I don't have anything to offer for that right now. However, there's been talk around the teams that are part of the Substrate Builders program on start building these specific streams of help. Because it's not only covering the costs, it's also really understanding what is it that you guys did and how do I do it, right? So we are discussing within the teams with the Substrate Builders program on how we can create these working guilds that target specific issues that the teams had coming up, like legal issues, marketing issues, community issues, all of that, and creating working teams to start solving them and open source basically that information to anybody that wants to come into the ecosystem. Yeah, but right now it's in the works and it's not something that we have built yet.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah.
Perfect. Do we have any more questions?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, sure.
Hi. In my case, I've already built a project.
Yeah.
And I had a grant, and the treasury is maintaining them. But now I want to build something bigger, like a parachain.
Okay.
Where what I would really like to have is some kind of jump start.
Okay.
You know, like look into this, look into that. These are the resources. Do you guys have anything for that?
So the best thing that I would recommend for that is applying to Square One. That Square One, right? The one that we had here. And we can sit down for half an hour and discuss what does that jumpstart look for you. Because if you build already something with the Web3 Foundation, if you already have on-chain treasury for like the project that you're running right now, we can definitely try and see what are the best resources that you can get. I think that still like the overall discussion would probably be going through the tutorials that you have on the Substrate Development Hub. I think that's the best way to start. And maybe after that, we can connect you with an incubator or an accelerator that gets you that jump start at the very beginning. And from there onwards, we can see what's the next step. Yeah, because Square One is also not, okay, you talk with us and we send you somewhere and it disappears, right? It's like, okay, maybe you come with us, right? And we say, okay, for you, the natural next step is a Web3 Foundation grant. You build that MVP with a Web3 Foundation grant. And after that, we talk again and we say, okay, now let's discuss about having you in the Substrate Builders program. And we go through all the process of applying for the Substrate Builders program. And it could be yes, could be no, right? We have a committee, we have a lot of things in there that in the end decide if it's a good match or not. But we still continue that discussion to help you the best way we can. But I would definitely recommend just get in there, submit your information, and let's chat and see what's the best solution for you to get you that jump start.